Hey, it's Tom, and today we're going to build a Twitter bot using JavaScript and Puppeteer. There are many tutorials on how to build a Twitter bot using Python, but it's also possible, and I believe it's even easier, to build a Twitter bot using JavaScript and Puppeteer. So we can do that, and of course we will do that today. Our bot will log in to our existing account and then search for a term using, for example, hashtag, and then we'll follow all people that are posting tweets with a selected hashtag. Okay, so let's jump to the code. So I already prepared a testing account, and there's a username and password for this account. Of course, I will change that after recording this video. As usually for this kind of work, we need Puppeteer. So I imported the Puppeteer, and that's the only dependency that we will be using in this tutorial. We'll run that as a Node app. We have two variables, browser and page, and there's a simple asynchronous function, arrow function, and right here we are creating a new instance of browser. It's in a headless. It's not headless, so the Puppeteer is using Chromium, the Chrome engine, to simulate the web browser, and by default it's working in a headless mode. So the Chromium browser, the Chrome browser, is not opened at all. It's just working in the background. But we would like to see what's appearing on the screen and how it's working, and we also need that to get the particular tags and input classes to be able to fill the data. So we run the browser not in the headless form, but it will just open the browser itself. Next, we create a new instance of page, and there's a flag is mobile, so we don't want to run the website in a mobile form. And we set the viewport, so we just set the size of the page. It's helpful if you want to create a screenshot or generate a PDF from a website. And then in the next line, we just go to the twitter.com/login. And this parameter, wait until network idle 2, is responsible for waiting until all the network requests are finished, and then we are sure that all content on the website is loaded. Okay, so maybe let's run this and see what happens. Okay, so as we see, the Twitter is opening. I believe it's still in a mobile version. I don't know exactly why, but okay, we can cope with that. It should still work. And okay, so right here we need to use inspect and get the information how we can access this input. So why it disappeared? Okay, okay, sorry, it's my fault. Okay, so we have this input. It's input, and how we can access that. So it has pretty easy to understand name parameter. Name equals session, and we have username or email, and the same happens with the password. So it has just different name. It's input object. Okay, so I think that to access that, okay, let's move it here. Let me copy my code that I prepared previously to save your time. So to access those inputs, I will use a type method of the page instance, and then we provide the type of the tag. It's in this case it's input, and okay, maybe that will be helpful. And then in the square brackets we provide the particular parameter that we want to use to localize the object. And the next parameter is the data that we want to fill into this input, and the last parameter is the delay. So in some cases, some websites are able to find out that we are using bot if you are filling the input immediately, because that's impossible when you are using a keyboard. So we can try to delay this process, and because of that, some websites might be not able to find out that we are using bot, because it's natural that it takes some time to fill this data. And then we would definitely like to press the login button. Okay, inspect. I think that it might be actually deactivated, and for this reason might be, oh no, okay, we can use the data test ID. This parameter looks like not generated dynamically. It's looking like some kind of static data. So we can get this and ask our bot to click that element. And to do that, we need to use this kind of method. Okay, so in the next step, we are asking our page to click the element, which is a div. Okay, let me show it. Div, and with the parameter data ID, data test ID, login form underscore login underscore button. Okay, and this should log us into the Twitter. So in the next step, we should wait for some time, and there are two ways to do that. One, which is the most efficient probably, we can ask page to wait for a particular element. And but right now we don't know what will be the element that we are waiting on the next page, so we can just ask the page to wait for 2000 milliseconds, so it's 2 seconds. Okay, I think that we are good for now, and we should test if this is working. So let's close our browser. Let's stop our current program, and it's saved. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's working, which is great, to be honest. Okay. Welcome to Twitter. And okay, so right now we have the page which is loaded, and we are able right now to find elements that we want to click or we want to interact with. And in our case, it will be this element, so this input field. So let's inspect. And by the way, I'm recording that in Poland, and even though I set the English language, I have some people which are suggested to be followed, which are suggested to me by my location. So this is Polish Prime Minister. Okay, anyway, we have to inspect this element. We have to move it to the bottom, because I just prefer this way of inspecting elements. And okay, let's press this once again, inspect. Okay, so we have a pretty decent amount of data for this input, but there is yeah, this looks interesting. Data test ID search box. This is looking like a pretty static data that we are able to maybe use to find this element, and we'll use that. And in this field, we will type the term we are trying to find out, and we are interested in. So okay, let's move it right here. And our next step is something like this. So let me explain how it's working. So as I mentioned previously, when we know what we are waiting for, we don't have to use the manual delays. We can ask page to wait for some particular element. And in our case, the element we are waiting for is the input. So this is the input that we are interested in. Let me move it right here. This input, and it has the data test ID that we are interested in. So we ask page to wait for this element to appear. We also can provide some kind of timeout, but I believe that default timeout is 30 seconds, so it's definitely enough. And then we want to type into this element, so we have to use this input, square brackets, data test ID once again. So we want to type into this element the term that we are interested in. I think that maybe hashtag Tesla might be interesting, and it's pretty popular around the whole world. And once again, we provide a delay, so it won't be looking like working like a bot, but it will be more natural to maybe some script which is working in the background of Twitter. I don't really know. I'm not sure if that's true, but let's use that because that's safer, and you can use that also on other pages. Okay, so let's stop this. Let's save, and let's run this code again. So important thing to remember right here is that by default Chromium, okay, it typed Tesla. Oh, but we didn't press enter, so we have to run it again. Anyway, let me fix that and explain you what I wanted to say. So what I wanted to say is that by default, every time we run this app, the Chrome is being opened in a incognito mode, and by default it also doesn't save cache, cookies, anything. So you have to go through the whole process once again. So you have to log in to a particular page or search some terms. But the good thing about that, oh yeah, it's working. The good thing about that is the content of the website should be at least the same every single time, because if you would start with a logged in account, then we would start in a different page, and different objects should be expected to appear on this page. Okay, so right here we have a list of tweets, and probably those people are those that we are interested in following, because their tweets are popular, so they are probably well known in the community. You can do the same with, for example, Swift, JavaScript, any other interesting topic. And we would like to open their profiles and then follow them. So, for example, let's inspect maybe the avatar, and using this avatar, we should be able to access the profile of particular person. So let's maybe do this way. Okay, inspect. Okay, so this is not looking as easy, but maybe there is okay, so maybe right here, this is a element, and it has href, which is great. It has, oh my god, pretty long class, but it looks like there's no other way to access this element, so we have to access this element using the class. So yeah, we will try to find this element and click, and then we'll see if the profile will open. So maybe let's, because I prepared a little bit different version, but we'll do some live coding, and that should also work. And then I will explain you why initially I did that in a different form. So wait, page, sorry, page click And in this way, we will definitely need something like this. Okay, whoa. It will be a element, and the class will be equal to this. Yeah. Okay, that should work, I believe. And then we can ask just page to wait for 2 seconds. Okay. Let's see if I was correct and this will work. So we log in to our website. We search for some terms. We wait 2 seconds, and then we will try to click the element. Okay. It doesn't work because no module found for a class. That's interesting. Oh, okay, sorry. That's my bad. Let's do this once again. Yeah, this is the fun when you're trying to go off the script and do some live coding, but hopefully we'll solve that quickly. Okay, so let's inspect this element. We have a, and okay, the class is, this is the class. Okay, so we can close that, we can close that. And some of you, those who are used to use the jQuery, probably know what is the error. So in the next step, we'll use the Puppeteer and the jQuery request to access the element in a loop, but let's wait for a moment. Yeah, so the first person on the list of the tweets with the most popular tweet probably was the Elon, and because of that we pressed the first element, and we opened the profile of Elon Musk, so it's working. Okay, and now let me explain you why this is wrong, because in general there's nothing wrong in using this kind of logic, but you have to remember that Twitter and many other websites are very dynamic. Their content is generated dynamically, and if you will just go through each element of the current page and try to click and go back, it may happen that when you will go to some other website and go back to the page that you started, the content will be different, or the order of content might be different. And because of that, it might be very hard to track which objects were visited and which were not. You can use sets, but you know, it's not very efficient. So I thought that we can change that, and we can try to scroll the page a little bit, like 5 times maybe, to get a lot of tweets and then put them into a set. I will explain you why in a moment, and then visit those authors of the tweets one by one and click follow button. Anyway, so as I mentioned, when the Twitter page is very dynamic, so even if you scroll down, it may happen that the tweets that are not visible right now were already removed from the source of the page. And because of that, we'll go in a loop and try to scroll down, but every time we stop on a page, we will get all elements, all authors of popular tweets, and put them into a set. So when we will finish scrolling, then we'll have all authors in our set. Okay, so maybe as usually, let me copy the source code that I prepared, and then I will explain you exactly how it's working. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's pretty long. Okay, let me format that maybe a little bit better. Okay, so the try catch is only for the reason of not finding some content, or or in case of just scrolling to the very bottom of the Twitter page, but which is probably impossible. Okay. So right here we create a new set which will contain the authors of the tweets, and then we start. The previous height it's just a variable that we will use to scroll the page. So right now maybe let's comment out this and let's run the code so you will see how it's really working. Okay. Sorry. So right now our goal is to log in, to search for a particular tweet, and then scroll down every 2 seconds, I believe. And as you see, we are scrolling down and we are changing, and the tweets on the bottom are being added and loaded from the backend. Okay, looks like we ended up, and we can close that right now. So this is the logic that was run in a loop. So 5 times we just checked the previous height. At first run, it's the current height of the page, and then we ask page evaluate in a shortcut is just calling jQuery on the website. So we ask the window to scroll to the bottom of current height, and we just wait until the document height will be updated, so it will be just bigger than the previous one. So we know that we can load once again, and then it's just wait for two seconds to prevent Twitter from finding out that we are a bot, because it's probably impossible for a human being to scroll to the very bottom and then don't wait even a millisecond and then scroll once again to the very bottom. As I mentioned, these kind of scripts are very popular on many pages. Okay, so as we scroll to the very bottom, so for example scroll 5 times, we have let's maybe change that to 2, because it will be just easier. So at each page we want to get the elements which are hrefs for authors of the tweets, and this double $sign is in a shortcut to evaluate. It's just a different way to call that, and thanks to this call we can get the all elements of the page with which are a type of A and have the this classes. So classes are separated by space, but right here we need to separate them using dots and signs, and then we use promise to get href parameters from all of them, and then we finally map them to return URLs, which will be just an array of URLs to the authors. Okay, so no, this won't work. It's stupid. You cannot add array to a set, because you are adding the object of array, not the content. So for each element of the URLs, we will just add this element to a set, and then we'll log the list of URLs. And right here we will just print maybe okay my set. Okay, so right here we should scroll twice through the whole page, and then we should have a lot of content in our console. So okay, let's see if this will be working. Yeah, so as you see, we are logging the authors, and some of them will be doubled, definitely. Tesla, Indiana. Anyway, if you will scroll a couple times, you will notice that some people are being repeated, and I believe that, yeah, it definitely looks like this set is shorter than length of the two arrays. So we have a set of strings, and each element is a reference to a full URL to author of the tweet. So the only thing that we should do right now is to go to visit those websites. So maybe, yeah, we can start with something simpler. Oh, sorry. We don't need that anymore. Probably don't even need that. Yeah, we can leave this. So we can go through the whole set and visit each website, and we will try to click the follow button, but we have to find out what will be the follow button. So maybe let's shorten it a little bit. Okay, that's it. There's some missing. This is for the catch. Okay. Okay. Actually, we don't want it to go through the all pages, because we just want to visit one of them, and we have to investigate how to access the follow button. So this should be working. This is closing. Okay. So this is closing the for loop, and that's the whole method. Okay. This is fixed. Okay, so we can clean the console, run it again, and now we will try to find out how to access. Okay, we scroll down twice. Oh, actually, we don't have to do that, but okay. Okay, reference error URLs is not defined. Okay, what's wrong? Why? Because my set. Sorry. That's my error. My fault. Okay, let's log in once again. Okay, we scroll down. Cannot navigate to invalid URL. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let me debug it. Okay, I'm back. So it was my fault, of course, because when I was writing that, I thought that URLs. I was writing that using a simple array, and right here we used a set, so it will be maybe just easier to create once again a set from the array from the set, okay, and okay, that should be working fine once again. So sorry for small delay. And right now we should visit only the first author of the tweet. Okay, so we scroll down a little bit. Yeah, okay, so we got the, oh, why I'm not logged in? Anyway, the structure of the page should be very similar. So let's inspect that. Yeah, as usually. Let's change the size. And yeah, let's inspect this follow button. Okay, span, div. Placement tracking. That looks interesting, but yeah, maybe this photo, yeah, one of those divs, which might be easier. Yeah, this is roll button, so this is one that is interesting for us. It has a pretty long class, but we have to use that. So we will use that, of course. Okay, we can copy that. Okay, but anyway, I already prepared this part of code. So right here, we definitely have to go through all the URLs, and then we have to open the page. And when we open the page, we can wait for a moment to the content to be loaded. So we can wait for 2 seconds, then we can click the follow button, then we will wait 2 seconds to just see that we press that because there is some animation going on, and then we will go back, and because the for loop will wait until all promises will be resolved, we will go through each author one by one. So right now it looks like the code should be working. So yeah, let's keep fingers crossed, and I hope this will be working right now as it should. Okay, let's make it a little bit smaller. We log in, we search Tesla, we scroll down twice, okay, to not lose a lot of time. So, oh, we are not logged in. That's strange. Now we are logged in. Okay, so it looks like for some reason at the first run there was some error, but right now we are able to go through all authors and follow them. And yeah, this is it. This is probably one of the easiest way to get many followers, because if you're active on Twitter, you probably know that when you follow someone, like 50% of people will follow you back. So if you will follow 1,000 popular people, maybe they are not very best target, because if you are very popular, you don't want to follow back all your followers. But anyway, definitely part of those people will follow you back, and your profile will become very popular, I hope. So this is this is previous Polish minister. Anyway, so this is very popular way to build Twitter bots, and we build that using JavaScript, which is I think very good way to do this. You don't have to build all bots using Python. And that's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, any comments, any thoughts, feel free to share them in the comments section. Of course, the link to the source code will be available in the description, and it will be available on my GitHub. And yeah, this is it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and see you next time. Bye.